Hi everyone, this is Kelly. We're about to uncover a new sinister plan from Michael, and this is putting Willow in new danger. I've always thought Michael was one of the most layered young men on the canvas. He grew up surrounded by so much chaos, and yet he still tries to protect the people he loves in his own complicated way. Lately, though, he's taken that protective streak and turned it into something darker, something almost calculated. From what I can see, he's quietly setting up a brand new trap, one that pulls Willow and Chase right into the center of it. He's been watching them both for weeks, noticing how Willow still carries that gentle, vulnerable side she's had since she first arrived in town, and how Chase, bless his heart, still plays the role of the honorable cop who wants to rescue anyone in trouble. Michael knows those traits like the back of his hand because he and Chase were once the closest of friends. Living under the same roof at the Quartermain house has given him an insider's view of Chase's schedule, his days off, even the little habits that make Chase predictable. So when Michael decides to copy Chase's phone number and send Willow an invitation that looks exactly like it came from him, I'm not surprised at all. It's the kind of move that feels both sneaky and perfectly in character for a man who's learned that sometimes the only way to fix things is to control every piece on the board. The invitation itself is innocent on the surface, just a casual swim at the Quartermain boathouse. But I've been around long enough to know that nothing on the show stays innocent for long. Michael is counting on Willow's soft heart and Chase's knight in shining armor instincts to do the rest. He wants Willow to feel safe and wanted, and he wants Chase to feel needed. At the same time, he's working on another front, chipping away at the trust between Chase and Brook. Brook has always been such a fiery, determined woman, the kind who stands tall no matter what the Quartermain name throws at her. Yet Michael seems determined to show Chase that she's been hiding the truth about what really happened in that accident involving Curtis and Jordan. He's not shouting it from the rooftops. He's letting the information drip out slowly, like poison in a well, so that by the time Chase learns the full story, the damage is already done. I keep asking myself, is Michael really doing this out of love for Willow, or has he convinced himself that breaking up Chase and Brook is actually helping everyone in the end? When he talks with his new girlfriend Jacinda about it, he frames the whole thing as doing Brook a favor, as if turning her from a strong, independent Quartermain into someone constantly tending to a man lost in his own hero fantasies will somehow free her. It's a twisted kind of logic, but I can see how a longtime viewer like me might almost buy it if I didn't know better. What really has my heart racing these days is the latest development, the one that feels like the writers decided to turn the heat up to 11. Michael isn't stopping at just getting Willow and Chase together at the boathouse. No, he's engineering things so that Brook will walk right into the middle of it and see the most intimate moment between them. I can picture it so clearly. Willow and Chase arriving at the boathouse at the exact minute Brook, and Tracy are heading out to the BMW dealership to fix that noisy passenger door and the long scratch along the side. The timing is too perfect to be accidental. Michael has thought of everything, down to the second. And when Brook stumbles upon that private, heated scene between her husband and Willow, I honestly don't know how any of them will recover. It's the kind of shock that doesn't just sting. It changes the entire landscape of their relationships overnight. I've spent many afternoons wondering why Michael would go this far. Is it revenge for all the times he felt pushed aside? Is it his way of proving to Willow that she belongs with someone steadier than the life she's been living? Or has he simply become so used to pulling strings that he can't stop himself anymore? Whatever the reason, this new obsession he's creating feels different from the old Michael I used to root for. He's not just manipulating events. He's crafting a moment so raw and personal that it will leave permanent scars. Chase, who has always tried to live by a code of honor, will be forced to face the fact that his own weakness for a damsel in distress has betrayed the woman he married. Willow, who has fought so hard to break free from her past and stand on her own, will suddenly find herself caught in a web she never asked for. And poor Brook Strong, loyal Brook will have her world shattered in the most public, humiliating way possible. The writers are showing us that love on General Hospital is never simple. And sometimes the people who care the most end up hurting the deepest. Yet even as I sit here shaking my head at the sheer audacity of it all, I can't help feeling that familiar rush of excitement. That's what keeps me coming back after all these decades, the way the show takes characters we think we know inside and out, and suddenly reveals a new layer we never saw coming. I've watched Michael grow from a little boy into a man who believes he can fix everything if he just plans carefully enough. I've seen Willow blossom from a shy newcomer into a woman who deserves real happiness, not another layer of manipulation. I've cheered for Chase as he tried to balance being a good cop and a good husband, and I've admired Brook for refusing to let the Quartermaine legacy swallow her whole. Now all four of them are being pushed toward a collision that none of them fully understands yet, and I find myself counting the hours until the next episode. Will Brook destroy Chase and Willow in her anger, or will she find a way to rise above it the way she always has? I suspect the answer is somewhere in between, because this show has taught me that forgiveness is possible even after the most heartbreaking betrayals. Will Michael's plan backfire and leave him more isolated than ever? Quite possibly, and that thought alone keeps me on the edge of my seat. The beauty of General Hospital has always been its ability to make us care so deeply about these flawed, passionate people that we feel every twist right along with them. Right now, the air in Port Charles feels thick with anticipation, like the calm before a summer storm that's been building for months. Michael's trap is set, the boathouse is waiting, and somewhere in the shadows of that elegant Quartermaine estate, lives are about to change forever. I keep thinking back to all the classic storylines that have kept me loyal through the years, the weddings that turned into disasters, the secrets that exploded at the worst possible moments, the quiet conversations on the docks that somehow changed everything. This current arc has that same electric spark. It's not just about who ends up with whom. It's about how far someone will go to protect the ones they love, and how quickly that protection can turn into something destructive. Michael believes he's doing the right thing, but I've lived long enough to know that good intentions can pave the road to heartbreak faster than any villain's scheme ever could. Chase and Willow are walking straight into his carefully laid plan, completely unaware that the invitation they both think is innocent is actually the first step toward a moment that will echo through Port Charles for years to come. Brook, meanwhile, is about to have her faith tested in the cruelest way possible, and I can already feel the collective gasp from longtime viewers like me when that scene finally airs. There's something almost comforting in knowing that no matter how wild the plot gets, the heart of General Hospital remains the same. People who love each other, hurt each other, forgive each other, and somehow keep finding their way back to one another. I may not agree with every choice Michael is making, but I understand the loneliness and the fear that's driving him. I may worry for Willow's gentle spirit, but I also believe she's stronger than she realizes. I may ache for Chase's sense of honor, yet I know he'll have to face his own mistakes before he can truly heal. And Brook, well, she's proven time and again that she can weather any storm the writers throw at her. That's why I'm not just watching. I'm invested, heart and soul, the way only a viewer who has spent decades with these characters can be. Picture this. Michael has engineered things so that Willow and Chase will meet at the boathouse right as Brook, and Tracy are leaving for the BMW dealership. If Brook walks in on that intimate moment between her husband and Willow, the shock could push her to the breaking point. We've already seen how Michael has been quietly chipping away at her marriage by revealing the truth about the accident with Curtis and Jordan. In a moment of raw pain and fury, she might do something impulsive, perhaps something that gets her arrested. I keep wondering if it will involve protecting the family name or lashing out in a way that lands her squarely in legal trouble. Whatever happens, Brook behind bars would be a game changer. At the same time, Tracy seems to be crumbling under the weight of it all. That proud, unbreakable matriarch has held the Quartermaine empire together through every crisis, but the combination of her granddaughter-in-law's arrest, the public humiliation, and the family secrets exploding around her might finally be too much. We've watched her strong front crack before, but this time it feels deeper, more serious. Tracy collapsing emotionally or even physically would leave a huge hole at the top of the family. And who steps right into that power vacuum? Michael. He's been living under the same roof, studying every move, every business dealing, every weakness. His plan wasn't just about breaking up Chase and Brook. It was about clearing the path so he could finally take control of the Quartermaine fortune and influence. I've seen Michael grow from a troubled boy into a man who believes he can fix everything if he just pulls the right strings. Now it looks like those strings are pulling him straight to the head of the table.